you understood them, only to realize later you were completely wrong? What if I told you that most people you meet every day are not as simple as they look? What if I also told you that even you do things every day without really knowing why you do them? Sounds strange, right? But this is the truth about human behavior. And once you understand it, you will never see people the same way again. Think about your normal day. You talk to family. You meet friends. You see strangers. You scroll on your phone and watch people online. In all these moments, you feel like you understand what is going on. You think you know who is honest, who is kind, who is fake, and who is strong. But the human mind is not that simple. Most of what people show is just a surface. Under that surface, there is a deep system running inside the brain. That system controls emotions, reactions, fears, and even decisions. And most of the time, people are not fully aware of it. Psychology is the study of the human mind and behavior. It tries to explain why people think the way they think and act the way they act. It does not deal with magic. It deals with patterns. And once you start to see these patterns, you will notice something very interesting. People are more predictable than you think. They are not random. They follow hidden rules. These rules are not written anywhere, but they exist in every human mind. For example, have you ever noticed how quickly you form an opinion about someone? Sometimes, within just a few seconds, you already decide if you like them or not. You may not say it out loud, but your brain already made a choice. This happens so fast that you don't even notice it. That is your brain using shortcuts. It does this to save energy. Instead of analyzing everything deeply, it quickly judges based on small signals like face, tone, body language, or even how someone walks. The problem is, these quick judgments are often wrong. Now think about how many times you changed your opinion about someone later. Maybe you first thought someone was rude, but later they turned out to be kind. Or maybe you thought someone was nice, but later you saw a different side of them. This happens because your first impression was only based on a small moment. It was not the full picture. But your brain still acted like it was enough information. This is just one small example of how human thinking works. And this is only the beginning. There are many hidden patterns like this inside every person. Some of them control how people lie. Some control how people fall in love. Some control how people get angry. And some control why people make bad decisions even when they know better. Here is something even more interesting. Most people believe they are fully logical. They think they make decisions based on facts. But the truth is very different. Emotions come first. Logic comes later. This means that when someone makes a choice, their feelings already decided it before their mind explained it. For example, when someone buys something expensive, they often say it is because of quality or need. But deep inside, the real reason is often emotion. Maybe they wanted to feel confident. Maybe they wanted to feel successful. Maybe they just wanted to impress someone. The brain then creates a logical reason afterward to make it feel right. Now imagine how powerful this is. If emotions control decisions more than logic, then understanding emotions becomes very important. It means that to understand people, you cannot just listen to their words. You have to observe their behavior. You have to see what they do, not just what they say. Because words can be controlled, but emotions often leak out through actions. Another thing you should know is that people are not always aware of their own behavior. A person can feel jealous, but not admit it. A person can feel insecure, but act confident. A person can feel sad, but pretend everything is fine. This is because humans try to protect their image. Everyone wants to be seen in a good way. So they hide parts of themselves, even from close friends and family. This creates a situation where people are always reading each other, but nobody is fully open. That is why misunderstandings happen so often. One person thinks one thing, while the other person is thinking something completely different. And both believe they are right. This is also why relationships become complicated. It is not because people are bad. It is because people are complex. Now here is where things get even more interesting. Once you start learning psychology, you begin to notice things you never saw before. You start to understand why someone suddenly gets quiet in a conversation. You start to see why people follow trends even if they say they don't care about them. You start to notice how people react differently when they feel ignored or appreciated. It is like a hidden layer of reality opens up in front of you. But there is something important to remember. Learning about human behavior is not about judging people. It is about understanding them. Every person you meet is dealing with their own thoughts, fears, and experiences. Some people react from past pain. Some people react from insecurity. Some people react from pressure. And many times, their behavior has nothing to do with you at all. So when you start to see these patterns, you become more aware. You stop taking everything personally. You stop assuming too quickly. And you start observing instead of reacting. This is where real understanding begins. Now, before we go deeper into these psychological facts, I want to give you something important. If you stay until the end of this video, you will not only learn 15 powerful psychological facts about human nature, but you will also start recognizing them in real life. You will be able to understand people in a way most never do. You will notice things in conversations, behavior, and even silence that you used to miss completely. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Have you ever caught someone in a small lie and thought, why would they even lie about something so simple? Or maybe you told a small lie yourself, and didn't even think much about it afterward. The truth is, lying is not as rare as most people believe. In fact, it is one of the most common human behaviors. Most people do it every single day, even if they do not realize it. And this is not always about big lies. It is often about small, hidden ones that seem harmless in the moment. Psychologists have studied this for a long time, and what they found is surprising. People lie more often than they admit. But the important part is this. Most of these lies are not done with bad intentions. They are not always meant to hurt someone. Many times, they are used to protect feelings, avoid conflict, or protect one's own image. For example, someone might say they are fine when they are not. Someone might say they don't care when they actually care a lot. Someone might say they are busy when they just do not want to meet. These are all small forms of lying. But they happen so often that people do not even notice them anymore. Now think about your own life. How many times have you said something just to avoid an argument? How many times have you agreed with someone just to keep peace, even if you did not fully agree inside? These small moments are part of human nature. The brain likes comfort. It avoids stress. And sometimes, telling a small lie feels easier than facing a difficult truth. This is not because people are bad. It is because the human mind is designed to protect itself from emotional discomfort. One of the strongest reasons people lie is fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of judgment. Fear of conflict. Imagine someone asking you a question that could lead to an argument. Your brain quickly searches for the easiest path. If honesty feels risky, the brain may choose a small lie instead. It happens so fast that you don't even feel like you made a decision. It just comes out naturally. That is why many lies feel automatic rather than planned. Another reason people lie is to protect their image. Everyone wants to be seen in a good way. Nobody likes to feel embarrassed or weak in front of others. So people often adjust the truth to make themselves look better. For example, someone might say they scored higher on a test than they really did. Or they might exaggerate their experience in a job. Or they might hide mistakes they made. These are all ways the brain tries to protect self-esteem. It is not always about tricking others. It is also about protecting how we see ourselves. There is also something very interesting about social lying. In many cases, people lie to make others feel better. For example, if a friend asks, "Do I look okay?" most people will say yes, even if they are not fully honest. If someone shares bad cooking, people often say it's good to avoid hurting feelings. These are called white lies. They are small lies used to keep social peace. And they are extremely common in every culture around the world. But here is where things get deeper. The more people lie, even in small ways, the more they start to believe their own lies. The brain is very flexible. If you repeat something often enough, it can start to feel true. This is why sometimes people convince themselves of things that are not fully accurate. For example, someone might keep saying they are not affected by something, even when they clearly are. Over time, they may actually start believing it. This shows how powerful the human mind is when it comes to self-deception. Now here is an important point. Most people think they can easily detect lies. They believe they can tell when someone is not being honest just by looking at their face or body language. But research shows this is not very accurate. Humans are actually not very good at detecting lies. Even trained professionals struggle with it. This is because lying does not always look the same. Some people look nervous when they lie. Others look completely normal. Some even look more confident when they lie. There is no single clear sign that works every time. This makes human interaction even more complex. It means that you cannot fully rely on what you see or hear. You have to look at patterns over time. One moment does not define a person. Consistency is more important than a single behavior. This is why people often say, "Watch what they do, not what they say." Actions reveal more truth than words because actions are harder to control for long periods. Another important thing to understand is that lying is often connected to emotions. When people feel safe, they tend to be more honest. When they feel threatened, they tend to hide the truth. This is why the environment matters so much in communication. If someone feels judged, they are less likely to be fully open. If someone feels accepted, they are more likely to be honest. So honesty is not just about personality. It is also about comfort and trust. There is also a deeper layer to this. Sometimes people lie without even speaking. This is called self-deception. It happens when a person avoids admitting something to themselves. For example, someone might stay in a bad situation and keep telling themselves it is fine, even when it clearly is not. Or they might ignore warning signs in a relationship because facing the truth is painful. In these cases, the lie is not to others. It is to the self. And this type of lie can be the hardest to recognize. When you start understanding this, you begin to see human behavior differently. You realize that lying is not just about truth and falsehood. It is about emotion, protection, and comfort. It is about how the brain handles stress and social pressure. It is not always intentional. It is often automatic. So the next time someone says something that does not feel fully true, do not rush to judge them. Instead, try to understand why they might be saying it. What are they trying to protect? What are they afraid of? What emotion is behind their words? Because in most cases, the real answer is not in the words themselves, but in the reason behind them. And as you go deeper into these psychological facts, you will start noticing something very powerful. People are not as simple as honest or liar. Every person is a mix of truth, emotion, fear, and protection. And once you understand that, you will start seeing human nature in a completely new way. Have you ever met someone for the first time and instantly felt like you knew what kind of person they are, even without talking to them for long? Maybe you liked them in the first few seconds. Or maybe you felt something was off, even if they said nothing wrong. Now here is the strange part. That first feeling is very powerful. And in most cases, it stays in your mind for a long time, even if later evidence proves it was wrong. This is one of the strongest facts in human psychology. First impressions are extremely powerful, and they are very hard to change. In simple words, your brain makes a fast judgment about people within seconds, and then it tries to protect that judgment. Even when new information appears, the brain does not easily update its opinion. Instead, it often bends the new information to match the old belief. This is how human thinking works in daily life, even when we do not notice it. When you meet someone for the first time, your brain is working very fast. It is not just listening to their words. It is also watching their face, their tone, their posture, and even small details like how they walk or smile. All of this information is processed in just a few seconds. And based on that, your brain creates a quick label for that person. It might be friendly, confident, shy, rude, or trustworthy. This label is not always accurate, but it feels real in the moment. The reason this happens is simple. The brain wants to save energy. It cannot analyze every person in full detail all the time. So it uses shortcuts. These shortcuts are called mental filters. They help you make quick decisions in social situations. Imagine if your brain had to fully study every person you meet before forming an opinion. Life would become too slow and exhausting. So instead, the brain chooses speed over accuracy. But this speed comes with a cost. The first impression often becomes a filter for everything that comes next. If you think someone is nice at the start, you are more likely to ignore their small negative behaviors later. And if you think someone is rude at the start, you are more likely to ignore their good behavior later. This is called confirmation bias. It means the brain looks for information that supports what it already believes, and ignores information that does not match. Think about your own experiences. Maybe you met someone and instantly felt they were not trustworthy. Later, even when they acted kind, you still felt a little doubt inside. Or maybe you met someone and liked them immediately, so even when they made mistakes, you kept thinking they didn't mean it. This is not random. This is your brain protecting its first judgment. Another interesting thing is that first impressions are often based on very small things. A simple facial expression, a short sentence, a tone of voice, even clothing style can affect how you see someone. For example, someone who speaks confidently in the first meeting might be seen as smart and capable. But if someone speaks softly or nervously, they might be seen as less confident, even if they are actually very intelligent. The brain makes these judgments quickly, but they are not always fair or accurate. Once a first impression is formed, it becomes sticky. It stays in your mind like glue. Even if the truth changes, the brain resists updating the original opinion. This is because changing an opinion takes mental effort. The brain prefers stability over correction. It feels easier to stay with the first idea than to rebuild a new one. This is why people often say, "I just have a feeling about this person." That feeling is often based on a very early impression, not on complete truth. There is also another layer to this. First impressions are not only about the other person. They are also about your own state of mind at that moment. If you are in a good mood, you are more likely to see people in a positive way. If you are stressed or tired, you are more likely to judge people negatively. This means that sometimes your opinion about someone says more about you than about them. The same person can appear different depending on your emotional state. This is why two people can meet the same person and have completely different opinions. One might say, they are so nice, while the other says, I didn't like them at all. Both are using their own mental filters. Both are forming fast judgments. And both believe they are correct. But in reality, they are seeing the same person through different emotional lenses. Now here is something very important to understand. First impressions are powerful, but they are not always true. People are complex. Someone might appear quiet at first but become very talkative later. Someone might look confident but feel insecure inside. Someone might seem cold at first but actually be very kind once they feel comfortable. The first moment does not show the full story. It only shows a small part. However, because the brain holds onto early judgments so strongly, it becomes difficult to see the full truth later. This is why misunderstandings happen so often in relationships, friendships, and even work environments. People are not always seen for who they truly are. They are often seen for who they appeared to be in the first few seconds. This also affects how people present themselves. Many people know that first impressions matter, so they try to control how they appear at the start. They may try to speak carefully, dress well, or act more confident than they feel. This is not always fake. It is often just awareness of how strong first impressions can be. People understand that once a label is formed, it is hard to change. But here is the most important part of this fact. Even though first impressions are powerful, they should not be final. A smart mind does not stop at the first judgment. It observes longer. It gives people time. It looks for patterns instead of moments. Because real understanding does not come from seconds. It comes from time and behavior over multiple situations. When you start understanding this, your view of people changes. You become less quick to judge. You become more patient. You realize that your first feeling is only a starting point, not a final answer. And you also realize that other people are doing the same thing to you. They are also forming fast opinions. They are also using shortcuts. They are also sometimes wrong. Have you ever argued with someone about something that happened in the past, and both of you were completely sure you were right, but your stories were totally different? Have you ever remembered a moment in your life as very happy or very painful, but later found out the real event was not exactly like that? This is not a mistake in your memory. This is how human memory actually works. And it leads to one of the most important psychological facts about human nature. People do not remember truth as it is. They remember emotions more than facts. Your brain is not a video camera. It does not record life exactly as it happens. Instead, it stores pieces of information. And the strongest pieces are not the exact details. The strongest pieces are feelings. When something happens to you, your brain pays attention to how it made you feel. Were you happy? Were you scared? Were you embarrassed? Were you excited? These emotions get stored very deeply. But small details like exact words, timing, or order of events often get weak, or even changed over time. This is why two people can experience the same situation and remember it in completely different ways. For example, imagine two friends at the same event. One friend might remember it as a fun and exciting day. The other might remember it as boring or uncomfortable. The event was the same, but their emotions were different. And because emotion is what the brain stores most strongly, their memories become completely different stories. Both of them truly believe their version is correct. But both are only partially right. This is also why arguments about the past are often useless. When people argue about what really happened, they are not just arguing about facts. They are